We got brand new week of shows for you. Ladies and gentlemen, new content, fresh energy on what is the hottest form of Alabama football news, notes, and information. Touchdown Alabama Magazine. I'm yours truly, Stephen M. Smith in studios. And this right here is in my own words. We were going to begin this week of conversation on Alabama freshman wide receiver Xavier Williams out of Hollywood, Florida. And is he the heir to the throne in terms of guys that the Crimson Tide have recruited from the Florida area to be game-changing, big-time, big-play weapons on the outside? Is Xavier Williams next in line? We'll get to that on the other side of the break. Due to when new information is brought to the forefront, we like to discuss that first, and we dive into Alabama will need the backups behind Tua Tagovailoa more than ever for the upcoming season. And the reason why I say this, the growing list of injuries for the returning junior Heisman finalist and consensus All-American. Over the weekend, Tua Tagovailoa was supposed to have been participating and being a camp counselor at the Manning Passing Academy in Louisiana. Of course, we all found out the news that was reported. Tua was held out for precautionary reasons for a hamstring injury. And despite the news along with that stating how the mishap, not serious, minor, nothing deep, nothing too major, everything that involves Tua Tagovailoa is major. Reason why? You go back to 2018, sophomore year, starting off in spring ball, where he had the freak hand injury to his left hand, throwing hand, fracturing that on the back of a teammate's helmet, and everybody was jumping out of windows trying to figure out what in the world's going on. And you go from that to the knee issue that happened against Tennessee, and that bothered, against Arkansas, and that bothered Tua against LSU, despite him having a solid game there, and against Mississippi State. And then we go from hand and knee to the ankle issue against Georgia in the Southeastern Conference Championship game, which forced him to the bench in the fourth quarter, allowing Jalen Hurts to come in, basically rescue the team, get it to a Southeastern Conference title, and then the college football playoff. So with Tua, when he's healthy, you know what he is. He's accurate, he's precise, he's dynamic, he's got elite arm talent, pinpoint with his passes, got that Superman complex going. When he is not healthy, this is where you see him rush throws, he gets antsy, and then you have the turnovers that ensue because he tries to do too much in overcompensating for the injuries. And despite the fact that Alabama's best chance at a national championship is with a healthy Tua Tagovailoa, Alabama, Nick Saban got to have that plan B ready to go. Whether that plan B is Mac Jones, whether it's Paul Tyson, whether it's Tua Tagovailoa, you gotta have that plan B ready. Because at this point in time, you got national media writers. I'm not talking about rinky-dink people. I'm not talking about rookies that just picked up a pen and said, look, I'm a journalist. I'm not talking about just your fly-by-night bloggers. I'm talking about folks that have been covering football for 20, 30, 40 plus years. They're well known. They're nationally known. There have been two nationally known guys that came out and said over the weekend, and they used the trigger word, the buzzword, to represent Tua Tagovailoa. They used injury-prone quarterback. The injury-prone Alabama quarterback to describe Tagovailoa. It's now time to talk about this. Nick Saban, Crimson Tide, gotta have that plan B going. And the first guy for that plan B is Mac Jones. Now, I get it. When people bring Mac Jones into the situation, they think, oh my goodness, if Mac Jones takes this field, it ain't good. Alabama's gonna lose every single game. He ain't ready. He ain't prepared. I don't trust him. There's just something about Mac Jones that, to me, doesn't scream ready-made Alabama quarterback. I see your point. I see your concerns, but here's my rebuttal. I think the kid is young baby A.J. McCarron. His story is starting to stack up quite like McCarron's did. Remember, it's not just the fact that both guys were number 10, although that's a good caveat there. A.J. McCarron comes from private school in Mobile, Alabama, St. Paul Episcopal High. Mac Jones comes from private school in Jacksonville, Florida, the Bowles School. Both guys were 4-star prospects when they came in. Both guys redshirted as freshmen. As a redshirt sophomore in 2011, A.J. McCarron assumed the starting job at quarterback, beating out Phillip Sims. Mac Jones, redshirt sophomore this upcoming season. Nick Saban mentioned in spring ball, we are going to give Jones every opportunity to get on this field. Due to the fact that this past season, he did not have ample chances. He did not have ample reps because Alabama had Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts. And the only way you are going to get better is with reps. The only way you are going to get better is with opportunities. This is the same Mac Jones that in back-to-back 8A games, he has been spectacular. In the 2018 spring game, the dude was the MVP. This past 8A game, he set up the MVP, which would end up being true freshman wide receiver John Mechie. But in this 8A game, Mac Jones completely outplayed Tua Tagovailoa and showing that he can run this offense. I remember talking to Damian Harris, a guy that looks at Mac Jones like a son. Damian Harris said, look, he's grown in leadership, he's grown in confidence, he's grown in knowledge of the system. And Steve Sarkisian, coming back to Alabama from the National Football League with the Atlanta Falcons, is going to introduce some NFL concepts within this offense, and Mac Jones has been eating the concepts up thus far. Gotta let this man see, gotta have this man show us what he can do from the quarterback perspective. He's got a pretty deep ball, led his high school team to a state title game in Jacksonville, Florida. Mac Jones is highly capable. He's got to get those reps. Aside from him, when you look at the second tier in terms of, guys that got to be prepared, Nick Saban's plan B, in a perfect world, he would want to redshirt both Paul Tyson and Tua Tagovailoa. I talked to a trusted source deep within the Alabama program over the weekend. The source told me, don't be surprised if Alabama does not pick up a quarterback in the 2020 class. They tend to pick up at least one per recruiting class, but the source told me, don't be surprised if Alabama doesn't pick up one for 2020. Why? They don't feel the need to pick up one. They don't feel pressure to pick up one. They do not have a sense of urgency to pick up one. Why? Because it got two in the 2019 class, and they feel very confident. They're very comfortable. They like what they have in Paul Tyson and Tua Tagovailoa. They know what they have. They appreciate what they have. They see what they have, and they want to take a look at what the future could entail. The source told me you could see some guys for 2021 that they may go after. They may possibly pick up a guy for 2020, but it's unlikely. Don't be surprised if they don't pick the guy up due to what they have in Tyson and Tua Tagovailoa. In a perfect world, Saban would like to redshirt both guys. They've been doing well in 7-on-7, in summer workouts. Paul Tyson, I've already given my thesis out on this young man. I see 4 NFL quarterbacks in this kid. Big arm, high IQ. He's got the size at 6'5", 220 pounds. He's eaten up the NFL concepts that Steve Sarkisian's bringing in. And in a high school at Hewitt-Trussville, where it's predominantly run-heavy offense, this was a guy in Paul Tyson that racked up more than 6,500 passing yards, 69 touchdowns, just 13 picks in 24 games as a starter. But if push comes to shove, if Tua Tagovailoa was to go down, and this would be a substantial injury to where he would be out for a period of time, then it becomes a free-for-all. If Tua stays healthy, you're looking at just Tua, number one, Mac Jones, number two, you redshirt Paul and Talia, and you say, hey guys, wait the next year so that we can unveil the future. If Tua was to go down with a substantial injury, now you look at the free-for-all, and I've heard from the same source, if it becomes a free-for-all, don't be surprised if Paul Tyson is taking snaps before the season ends. That's how serious this is. Nick Saban would like to redshirt both Paul and the younger Tagovailoa, but don't be surprised if something was to ensue. And from there, we go to the third tier option, and this is a wild card. You look at Slade Bolden. And I know a lot of you are thinking right now, Slade Bolden? Slade? Who is this guy? Is this the guy that we're getting our Alabama information from? Is this really an analyst? Is Touchdown Alabama really the go-to site? They're bringing up Slade Bolden. Hear me out here. Slade Bolden is the equivalent of Blake Sims. Remember Blake Sims, the guy from Gainesville, Georgia, the guy that came to Alabama in 2010 not as a quarterback but as an athlete, the guy that was the ultimate team player for Alabama, the guy that said, Nick Saban, it doesn't matter where you put me, wherever you need me, Nick Saban, send me, I'll go. If you need me to carry the water, Nick Saban, I got you. If you need me to be the quarterback, backup quarterback, scout team quarterback, running back, defensive back, wide receiver, return man, it don't matter, coach, put me where you need me. And Blake played all of those positions into his senior year, where he became a starting quarterback in 2014, and all the doubters that were at this man in 2014. But what did Blake Sims do? He made you love him. Clutch performances against LSU, against Auburn, clutch performance in the SEC title game. Prior to Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa, it was Blake Sims, the all-time single-season passing record holder, 3,487 yards. The all-time single-season touchdown responsible guy with 35 was Blake Sims. But not just that. If I had to give an NFL composition for Slade Bolden, it would be Julian Edelman of the New England Patriots, a guy that played quarterback at Kent State University before he was transitioned to wide receiver in the National Football League, and now he's one of the more clutch guys in the league. Slade Bolden, who came out of West Monroe High School in West Monroe, Louisiana, Gatorade Player of the Year for the state of Louisiana in 2018, a guy that played quarterback, wide receiver, and a defensive back. A guy that if you were to put him out there as that wrinkle, defensive coordinators, defensive players would kind of be taken back because they don't know what to expect, because they don't know which position he is actually perfected. It would kind of be like the 2006 Florida Gators. You knew Chris Leak, but you didn't really know Tim Tebow. And that wrinkle of Tim Tebow got Florida to the national championship. It would be like LSU in 2007. Everybody knew Matt Flynn. Not too many folks knew Ryan Perrilloux. And that wrinkle got the Tigers to the national championship in 2007. It'll be like what the New Orleans Saints have now in the NFL with Drew Brees and Taysom Hill. Hill coming out of BYU. That's what Slade Bolden would bring. Had one of the prettiest passes on A-Day, hooking up with Cameron Latuba, tied in for 31 yards. For Alabama, gotta have that plan B in order. Tua Tagovailoa could go down at any given moment. Not trying to be a Debbie Downer here, trying to be a realist. You want to see Tua stay healthy for Alabama, for his future career in the NFL. Gotta have that durability. But Alabama, Nick Saban, national championship programs, national elite caliber coaches like Nick Saban, you gotta have that plan B. Growing up as children, we always had a plan A. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a nurse, firefighter, police officer. As we got older, the dreams change. The dreams alter. We go through high school, the goals change. We go to college, we find out the thing that we want to major in. We got to take this class and this subject and this course of study, and it's too hard. We're thinking, oh, heck no. Check, please. I ain't trying to do all that. That's why you have a major and a minor. The major is what you want. The minor is what you fall back on. Graduated with a lot of people from the University of Alabama. Got my degree in 2015. And a lot of guys I went to school with, their career right now is based on their minor because that major did not work out. Not saying don't put faith in plan A, but make sure you have that plan B just in case plan A throws you a curveball or if life throws your plan A a curveball that it wasn't ready for. Alabama has been known for using plan B. 2009, when Greg McElroy struggled, you put Mark Ingram in the Wildcat. That was your plan B. 2011, in the national championship game against LSU, the BCS 2012 title game off the 2011 season, you came out throwing with A.J. McCarron instead of running the football. That was the plan B. 2017 season, 2018 title game against Georgia, Tua Tagovailoa coming off the bench. That was the plan B. 2018 SEC championship game against Georgia, Tua struggled, Jalen came off the bench. That was the plan B. Bama is known for plan Bs, and another one that's got to happen, well, not got to happen, but another one you got to be able to plan for it because you don't know at what point can Tua Tagovailoa stay healthy or will another injury come. It's a growing list of injuries for that young man. That plan B's got to be ready. Takes us to a break here, folks. On In My Own Words, as always, you download the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app for all of your news, notes, and information. You're rocking Team Apple. Go to the iPhone App Store, download it. Team Android, you go to the Google Play Store to check out the app. You subscribe to tdalabamamag.com to get the latest news, notes, and information on your Tide. You also subscribe to Touchdown Alabama Magazine on YouTube. Get with the site that's got over 1 million video views. When we come back on the other side of the break, we get into Xavier Williams, the freshman wide receiver for Alabama, and can he break into the rotation this upcoming year? Don't touch that dial, folks. We're coming back to In My Own Words. What's up, college football fans? You can catch the show every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Subscribe to get all the news, notes, and information covering your Alabama Crimson Tide.